What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with another episode of the weekend. No. Weekly checkup. I don't even know the name of the damn podcast. Weekly checkup. This is where we do a rehash on the latest Stadia news along with the latest in cloud, and we take a glimpse into cloud gaming, and then we talk about what we're playing here. So it's a good palate cleanser for the week. We had a great conversation with the members about the House of Stadia. We talk about the House of Stadia. Shout out to Geek to Sneak, and Geek is one of the members that was there while we had the member recording. And we were talking about the House of Stadia. He's actually the reason that I was going on a rampage yesterday. It was all because of Geek. He said, okay. He said, okay, I just want to chat with you for a second. Oh, what you mean you wanted to hop on? I ain't got the Discord set up, Geek. Or you just mean via the chat? But see, that's the perk. See, if you're a member, you get to chat with me while we're filming this live. And we film this live on Fridays at noon Eastern Standard Time. You know what I mean? So definitely join us, and you can check out the show and throw some questions in there. Tommy Rocks took over the show a couple weeks ago. We had a great time. It was great nonetheless. All right, so let me do so. I got to fix some of my graphics. I gotta get some of my graphics together. So topic number one is going to be, what do we call that? Topic number one is going to be, Jesus! We're going to call it Week in Stadia. Week in Stadia. Oh, golly. I don't want it to look like that. That looks like trash. Week in Stadia. Oh, my God. I apologize if y'all hear my wife. She's down there arguing with my sister-in-law. Help me, please. What else? We're going to say Week in Stadia around the cloud, and our last one is going to be what we call it? Game vibes. That's where we talk about what we've been playing, what we're happy about, what we're not happy about, all that stuff. All right, so let's put them up here. Week in Stadia, Around the Cloud, and Game Vibes. Those are the three. Let's see if I can. We got to move these over a little bit. You're watching the sausage being made. Normally we do this during the member show, but I was lazy. I was a little bit lazy today, so we're gonna close that one because I really wanted to go live earlier with the members, and something happened, and I couldn't go live with the members when I wanted to. So now I'm being lazy, and then I also need to bring this one up a little bit, right? Don't you think I need to bring that one up? Okay. What happened? What is going on here? There we go. That looks better. Okay, but here's what I'm going to do, because I can never keep things simple. You know, I got to mess stuff up. Ooh, orange. Holy cow. I didn't even know I had an orange theme. Okay, got that one. Okay, we got to close that, bring that back, and now we got to go with the gray theme for that one too, because we're not on that subject matter yet. Bada boom, bada bing. Oh, that looks a little janky. So we're gonna fix it one last time. We're gonna bring Around the Cloud down a little bit. No. Get back, and then Y. There we go. All right, that works. Okay, so those are our subject matters today. But before we get into all of those, I just wanted to show y'all that. Before we get into all that, we do got something to talk about, a few important things to note. And that's going to be, of course, our prologue. And for those of you that may not be aware, shout out to the homie, Daryl Smock Jr. Daryl wasn't able to join us today. He had some things to take care of, but shout out to Daryl nonetheless. That's the co-host of this show. All right, so here's the thing. Few things that I want to just reiterate on before we get started. First and foremost, well, you know how we do. Let me show you something. Not that one yet. I want to show y'all this. We're introducing Stadia Community Day. Now, this is the video that we shot earlier in the week. And we were talking about a day that we're going to be getting Stadia community people together, and we're going to be playing games, doing podcasts, you name it, all focused on Stadia. It happens Saturday, May 14th, 2022. Did y'all catch that on the screen? Let me bring it back a little bit. And the purpose of it is to get us together to play some games, to enjoy the platform like we used to. We've always had back and forth about Stadia and what's going on. Are they going to abandon it? And all this other crazy stuff, right? We've always had communications like that, right? But the palate cleanser was always, after all that was said and done, we get down and we play some games. And we kept rooted to what it was all about. Like Geek to Sneak said in the members thing, ain't gaming about having fun, right? So we want to bring it back there. I think too often in the community, we've gotten too attached to news. And I'm saying that even as somebody whose hobby is giving you the news. We've gotten too attached to it. We've gotten too attached to worrying about news more than we do playing the actual games that the news is about. That's like buying a candy bar, chewing on a wrapper and throwing a candy bar in the garbage, or maybe nibbling on it and then tossing it in the street. That's essentially what we're doing. And we do that because we've been so brainwashed. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've been so brainwashed into believing that any moment Google is going to shut this down. So we can't even enjoy the platform the way that we normally would, because what's been implanted in the back of our minds is this thing is ready to go. So anytime there's some news Stadia related, we jump to it for affirmation that the platform ain't going anywhere. The platform is not going to go, nobody else does that anywhere else. Nobody looks at Xbox, even when Xbox was going through years of, no exclusives, and even when there was the question of, is Satya Nadella gonna close Xbox down? Remember that right after the 2013 fiasco? Even during that period, because I was there, nobody was running to the news every 5 minutes to see. They were just playing, they were enjoying the games. And as news came up, then they congregated around it and saw it and looked at what it said. Not here. We've had so many entities, internal, external, whatever, hammer to our head that this thing is ready to go any moment, that we're more focused on the news than we are playing the games. You ask people, do you enjoy it? Oh yeah, I enjoyed that game. It's cool. Why ain't you playing it? Well, I'm looking to see if it's still gonna be around tomorrow. And that's too much. And I get it. Gamers want to be informed of what games are coming. I get all that. The platform is in a particular space right now to where they've made it abundantly clear that they want to get the games that you want to play. That's hence why they got rid of SG in the first place, to reshift its financial focus and its goals and repivot it. So of course they know that AAAs are part of that process, but they're in a spot where to get those games to play well, the way that they're supposed to play on the platform, they had to enhance the porting process. That was the wall. And now they're at a space to where they're fixing that porting process. We're starting to see little driblets of it come out, and then they're going to release it to the public at the end of the year is their current timeline. That's the current timeline that they gave, is by the end of the year. So after that is when I would start expecting to see, okay, what's the temperature like? Are people signing up and all that other stuff? But right now, they're kind of in that period to where they're still trying to get developers to access the tools or access the platform and do it manually. You know what I'm saying? And again, for those of us that understand what's going on, we're like, hey, look, this is a new and emerging tech. We already know it's not going to be on the same level as PlayStation or Xbox. We're going to afford them the time, because it's not like we don't have things to enjoy here. We enjoy the platform. We enjoy the comfortability that it's given us. Look, if y'all can go crazy about God of War all the way back from 2018 and enjoy that, hell, I can enjoy Resident Evil from 2021. You know what I'm saying, on Stadia. You feel what I'm saying? So it's not like there's nothing here, there's nothing to enjoy, and there aren't plenty of enough games to keep, the average gamer occupied. The average gamer, you go to analysts like Daniel Lamada of the Nico Group and elsewhere, they tell you that the average gamer only has 7 games in their library, and they purchase 2 games a year. That's the average gamer. If you're more one of those rapid, I gotta grab that as soon as it comes out. Right now, this is not going to be your first and foremost platform, and that's okay. Because I remember when we were doing a stream the other day, where someone pointed out, look, even if I love GFN, I love playing basketball games. I don't think there's any basketball games on GFN. So if I'm sticking to the cloud, I need another cloud service to supplement the fact that there's no football game. There's no basketball games on GFN, right? So, I think the average gamer understands that. And the average Stadia adorer understands that. And the average fan of this platform understands that. And they just want to enjoy the platform. So again, that was my long-winded way of talking about Jesus Christ. I didn't mean to have this up here as long as I did. So that's why we were doing Stadia Community Day, where it's going to be at least 24 hours as it seems right now, and spots are moving quick. It's going to be at least 24 hours of Stadians enjoying the platform, talking about the platform, and talking about their love for it, or just playing games together. So if you want to be a part of it, reach out to me either via DM, or go reach out to StadiaDosage via DM, or reach out to Now You're on Twitter, or just reach out to Cowboy on Twitter for more details. All right. The next thing that we want to talk about is the Old Dirty Blasters. That is our Division 2 clan, the Old Dirty Blasters, and we are still accepting. We got a few slots left. We're still accepting members of the clan. So if you want to sign up, if you want to be part of a Division 2 clan, our Division 2 clan, go to PNTSnetwork.com, go to events, click on Old Dirty Blasters clan, right? Scroll down to the Division 2 part, click on there, and then fill out the form. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may have already done that, and you haven't gotten a response, or you've gotten an invite because A, you gave us an invalid Stadia name, B, an invalid Division 2 name, or C, you're already part of a clan. So if that's happened, so if you did register, make sure that you give us a full Stadia name, like hashtag Stadia or Stadia, whatever your Stadia is, and including the numbers, the whole name. Same with your Division 2 character's name. And definitely make sure that you're not part. If you're part of a clan, you can't be more than one part of one clan at a time. All right. So that's that. And lastly, our good friends over at StadiaDosage would like to thank you for your support. This is StadiaDosage.com. That used to be a hub on PNTS network, but we've changed that, and now it's his own independent site. And man, are they killing it over there. Definitely check them out. StadiaDosage.com for more details on how to get some of your latest and greatest Stadia news. We got community tools up here, just a whole bunch of great stuff if you want to keep up with what's going on with the platform and the community. All right. So thank you all for supporting the platform once it became its own separate hub. Appreciate all that. All right. So with all that said, now I'm gonna go back to our chat before we get into our topics. Geek to Sneak says MM2K. Let me put up his comment. He said MM2K, I'm gonna need some help grinding on Division 2 this weekend. Yeah, brother. Just Geek, you're part of the clan. Yeah, you're part of the clan. I saw you on the board. Geek. Yeah, confirm you're part of the clan. If you're part of the clan, I'm gonna add you to our DM. Because that's what we've been doing. We've been rapping in the DM, and we've been getting together, and then we've been rapping it on Discord and getting together. You know, if Torres look, me, you, and Chris Torres could do something with the man from Uncle. He's always playing the division. You know what I'm saying? So just let me know. I believe you're part of the clan, right? So we're gonna get you together. Yeah, yep, you are. All right, so I'm adding you. We're gonna do this live on air. My bad, brother. I thought I already. I'm slipping. All right, add people. Geek. Damn, bro. Or did I already add you? No, I didn't. You've been added. You've been added to the clan. So I would pay close attention to Tommy Rocks or Joan D'Arc. Check out what Tommy Rocks has been saying in the chat. He's giving some critical information that'll help get you boosted in the meantime. But tomorrow, yeah, brother, I'll be available. I mean, my grandkids are coming over. I can't remember what time, but I think I'll be free up until 2 p.m. Eastern. And I think that's when they coming over. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's get it done. Torres, you listening, brother? Let's do it. Let's help him out. You know, the man from Uncle's gonna hop in there. You know how he do. You know what I mean? So, and then we might get Average or somebody else to hop up in there. You never know. So I'll hit you up, Geek, or just put it in the DM. Just be like, look, I'm ready to fly, y'all. And also too, in the DM, Geek, there's a link to the Discord channel. So let me know when you clicked on that Discord channel link so I can give you the right administrative rights, and you can chat in there too. Because people like Torres ain't on Twitter. You know what I mean? He's on Discord. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get everybody to start planning and getting together on Discord. So ultimately that's where you're going to want to be. So just scroll up in the DM. You'll get the Discord link. Click on it. Let me know when you're in there. I'll add your administrative rights, man. But we're going to get this thing popping. All right. Okay. You said you don't see it? I'll put it in there. I'll put it in there for you, good brother. All right. With that being said, let's get on with today's show. All right. If it'll let me get to the graphics, Jesus Christ. All right. Let's put them back up there. I fixed them. So they're good. All right, so first let's talk about the week in Stadia. All right. The week in Stadia, it started off with, well, you know what? Let me do this. Let me show you something. Let's go back to StadiaDosage.com, a great resource for Stadia game news. And then let's talk about this article right here. Elemental War 2 arriving today with Stadia crowd choice included. That's dope. This is one of the many news tidbits Stadia dropped in this week is that the fact that Elemental War 2 is arriving tomorrow with Stadia crowd choice included. The post describes the features allowing YouTube live stream viewers to vote on your next move. The idea of a streamer crowd sourcing their next move sounds like a lot of fun. Absolutely. So, and the game is available today for $19.99. Look for what other games are coming soon to Stadia. Check out our list. So that's dope. That it has crowd choice in there. Here's the comical thing about this. John Scar, Ninja Guy X, and I, as part of the Stadium Connect North interviews that's been going on, and they've been fantastic. We interviewed the developer for this game. We asked him if he was going to use any features, and he kind of told us no. I don't want to say that he lied, but I mean, if he did, I can understand. He said that, but he kind of said no. And now we find out that they have crowd choice in there. Because we were trying to break it down for him, and he seemed like a little bewildered, but I get it. I completely understand. He was under NDA, you know what I'm saying? And we hit you with some questions. We hit you with we hit you with some questions sometimes, you know what I mean? And try to back you in a corner. So that's the funny thing about it, but no, it's all good. And that would be a great pickup, especially if you're a streamer. Pick up Elemental Wars 2, check it out, and check out that crowd play, see how it works. Next up, Zombie Army 4. Zombie Army 4 is getting a Ragnarok. Everybody getting Ragnarok. It's getting a Ragnarok campaign and character pack. That's dope. So there's a part 1, part 2 of it, and 2 campaign missions, 3 character skins. That's dope. So it reads here, Zombie Army 4 Ragnarok is available for purchase now on Google Stadia. This is brand new content update, brings 2 new campaigns, a trio of new characters and outfits, and shocking new environments, such as an undead factory in a blazing hellscape consumed by rivers of lava and flames ravaging the land. It tells you everything that's included. Of course, go to the website, check out all that's included. But this is dope stuff. And again, this is important because there's a lot of you that were out there that were upset because Stadia didn't get, what was that, Peppa the Pig DLC and Furious Fast and Furious Outrun DLC. They didn't get the DLC for Pac-Man. Here goes DLC for Zombie Army 4, and it's a AAA game. It's a AAA game, so I want to see how many. And look, I don't want to hear that trash. Why? It really ain't the great game. Again, what you like is what you like. It's subjective, but this is a AAA game. It runs fantastic on Stadia. It's 4K 60 on Stadia. Okay, so don't give me that trash. Well, am I right? I think I'm right. It looks good on Stadia, though. I believe it is 4K 60 on Stadia. But nonetheless, it looks good as hell. There is no excuse why, if you sitting there worried about the DLC that's coming on the platform, that you don't own this. I don't want to hear that trash. So hopefully you'll put your money where your mouth is. If there's this big concern about the DLC that's out there on Stadia, here goes an opportunity for you to really capitalize on DLC that you guys would assumably care about. DLC for a gory AAA zombie game. You can't get any better than that, right? That not only is it AAA and gory and all other stuff, but it plays well. It's of the creme de la creme ports on Stadia. So put your money where your mouth is. If the movement is real, you should have this deal. You should take advantage of this deal if the movement is real. You know what I mean? All right. With that being said, we also got Overcooked in the house. Overcooked is now, do we have something on Overcooked? Yes, we do. Overcooked All You Can Eat on Stadia goes golden brown on May 5th. And so they did clarify that there was a delay, but now it came out yesterday. So you can go get on one of the biggest party games out there, Overcooked, now on Stadia. Go check it out. All right. Cool. Now that you've been caught up on all that news, I want to talk about something else. There was a lot of anger over this week on Stadia. Let me go to the blog post. So we're going to do Stadia blog. Okay. All right, come on. All right. So this is the blog post, right? While I'm getting the blog post together, I'm gonna get something else together too. Just give me a second. I know I should have had this. Okay, here we go. All right. So that's the Stadia blog post right now. And people were upset because it's really not that much different than what's happening on what's already been told to us about what do you call it? It wasn't that much different from what was told to us about the pro games. So it was basically 80% of it was a rehash of the pro games. Then they announced Overcooked, Risk of Rain 2, Elemental War, House of the, you know what I'm saying? So it was a rehash of stuff that, of course, the most hardcore of the hardcore already knew. And what really got people irked is the fact that the platform decided to hold off on this today. This should have went out on the 3rd. It came out on May 4th, which is, of course, as we know, May the 4th be with you. And people were upset about that. Let me do something about my chat, because the chat should be up. Right? Oh, okay. I don't know why I had the chat off. Turn the chat on. All right. So, May the 4th be with you was the date that it was pushed back to. So many people were expecting something Star Wars related. And maybe there was going to be something Star Wars related, but the deal fell through at the last moment. I doubt it though. From what I've heard from some sources that are familiar with what happened, it was just that the social media people that put all this together and confirm and roll it out to the community, they were out on vacation. That's all it was, and it just happened to be a coincidence that they were coming back on May the 4th be with you. Now somebody said, well, why didn't Stadia have a backup or somebody to put it out? Well, the news was already known, right? You already knew the news, correct? So them putting it out, rushing to put it out there for regarding stuff that you already knew proves something that we're going to talk about in a little bit. I will tell you a couple of things though that they did have some missteps on, and to where I get where some people were frustrated. The Overcooked description. It says in the Overcooked description that the game has crossplay, but it doesn't. So when people go to and that's a description that was put out there by Stadia. So when people go to respond to what Stadia put out there, Stadia then responds on social media, well, that's up to the developers. That's a miscue, because, and I get why you don't want to delete the tweet because you already had so many responses, but there has to be better quality control when it comes to the stuff that's being posted out. I get it. If a developer doesn't follow through on something that they put in their description, Stadia is not going to know it all the time. But I think at the very least, like even before the game is certified, I think one of the first things that you get from the developer is, okay, give me a description. And then there should be a relationship manager that looks at the description, comes over and then looks for features, and then goes back to the company and says, okay, well, according to your description, here's what featuristics that we pulled out of what you said is going to be on this game. Are these features going to be on the Stadia port? Features like, gyro motion and this, that, and crossplay. Are these features that you've confirmed to be on the port? And there should be periodic checks, like, just again, we're doubling down on our description things. I got to do a description check every, it should be broken up into 4 segments. 4 segments before the description is put out there for retail. And before you put that description, even if it's pre-order, you have that relationship manager confirm. Where are we at with this feature? This still just confirming that okay, good. That's your cut down on that. Also, I do think Stadia just has to Stadia. Look, I get why Stadia doesn't communicate as frequently as other platforms when they have stuff coming. I mean, Amazon, again, is quiet. Luna is quiet too, but still. They don't go through, they don't run the risk of everything that they put out there being severely scrutinized and ran through the muck. But Stadia is in a situation where they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. So I remember debating and having conversations with people about when Stadia would say, coming soon. Right? And people were upset because they're like, okay, you can't give us a more distinct time frame. Well, maybe they can't, but it's in the pipeline for the game to come. So if it's in the pipeline for the game to come, they're at least giving people hope to know what games they can expect to be coming to the platform. And it was a big uproar of that. So Stadia stopped doing that. And guess what? The same people that were upset about the coming soon or coming down the road, however it was worded, the same people are now upset that they don't know anything in advance. Oh, we need a roadmap. And a roadmap doesn't always have specific dates. They give you time frames, or they just let you know what's coming. But when it comes to a gaming roadmap, that's out of their hands. That's up to the developer when said product launches. So whenever the developer makes the commitment, they'll have that date ready for you. That's not a Stadia thing. And again, for those of you that feel like, well, Stadia should say, all right, well, you better give this or else, the developers are going to go with else. And guess what? You're going to have even less games. So instead of barking and getting upset about 18, 19 games, you're only going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand there's a balance here. This is a nuanced platform. It's a sole dedicated platform. Did it miss some steps in the porting process? Yes. And they're working to make up for that. But because of it being a sole dedicated platform, there's so much more promise that's going to happen with this platform. But in the earlier on parts, the early years where it's about the ports, they got to play catch up. They're behind because their porting process isn't as smooth as their competitors. They're ahead in other things, but they were behind in the porting process. And the porting process is really the most important part, really, right now. That's why GFN is getting the flood of games that it's getting. Is why you're seeing Xbox starting to unravel some things. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, and so forth. Because the porting process is simplified, and they were behind there. So, with that being said, they were damned if they do, damned if they don't. But the problem is that they're too close to the vest. There was something like one thing that a manager always told me. He said, when you go out of the office, I know, your dentist appointment, because I'm a private person, and he had to pull me to the side and be like, this ain't gonna fly here. When you're responsible to people. When you're responsible to people, when you take off, just share a little bit. Share a little bit to calm some nerves. So if it is true that the social media people are not there to complete if that was the reason, then I would have put, hey, look, guys, our social media writers or creators that put together or this week on Stadia are not in the office at the moment. They're still on vacation. They will be back tomorrow to inform you. To put out the official release of this week on Stadia. You know what I'm saying? And that right there will be an indication to a lot of people. Oh, you're not doing this for May the 4th be with you. Because if you had something significant to put out there, you would make sure that it gets out there regardless. You wouldn't delay something because the social media people aren't there. So apparently you just don't have anything of significance that we don't already know about. You got to put something out when you're responsible to people. Something as simple as people not. If that was the case, again, and I know they're thinking, oh well, we still would have got backlash. Yeah, you would have. You're Stadia, but it would have been better. And I think we always want to select a better course of action, right? So yeah, I think they're too close to the vest. And if that was the case on why that didn't go out, somebody could have just opened up their mouth and said, hey, our people that help us put this together aren't back from vacation yet. When they return, we'll get this out to you. And then I would have let people, well, they must not have anything significant. So that I will side with some of the people that may have had some issues with this week on stage. I will side with you there. Those are things that the platform does have to do better. That being said, the majority of the angst that was developed was self-inflicted. I still hold Stadia accountable for the miscues in communication. They got to get better at that. And it's avoidable. It's, too close to the vest. Is there not a relationship manager? And if there is one, that should be part of their roles and responsibilities, is checking that. Is sitting together with an assistant or somebody, looking at the description and saying, hey, or somebody from the development team and say, hey, when you read this as a gamer, what would you associate this to that is a Stadia feature or playable feature on Stadia? Well, if I'm reading this, I'm thinking that there's going to be cross-platform because they say it here. I'm thinking there's going to be this, and I'm thinking there's going to be that. Thank you very much. I'm now going to go back to the client, to the company, and say, hey, in reading this, gamers, consumers are going to expect this, that, and the other. Is this what you're providing in the game? These are feature sets. No? Okay, being that these are not the feature sets, then we might want to word this differently. This might apply. It seems like that somebody may have did a copy and paste and it might apply elsewhere. Because it doesn't apply here, can we get you guys to revise this and not have it sound in the way that it's going to provide this, that, and the other? All it is a paragraph. You're not asking them to code anything. I think you could have that discussion with them if that discussion isn't already being held. But yeah, it's bad that the developer provided it that way and did a copy and paste, but there should be a check and balance to that. And we're seeing back-to-back weeks where there isn't. So that I can, as an agitation, I can side with gamers on that. Right? Because people reasonably did get excited that it was going to have crossplay. All right. Now, those are the things that should be held accountable for, but here's where the bulk of the pain was self-inflicted. I've been saying this for a long time, and somebody should clip this, because what I'm about to say is going to be very important, maybe controversial, but again, I'm not here to get fruitcakes and bouquets from people. I'm here to help people get acclimated to the truth the best way that I can. Depending upon the sectors that you roam in, as far as where you get your Stadia news, where you talk about Stadia, all of this stuff, was dependent upon whether you shot yourself in the foot like Plexico Burress in a New York club, or if this is not new to you. What am I talking about? Let me show you something. This is the actual press release or copy of it that was sent to publications as this, once the pro games, once all the pro games were announced. They announced House of the Dead, Lamote, Kazi and the Wild Mask, Outriders, and City Calls. They also, prior to this, had a tweet that was out there that talked about 3 of these games, right? This doesn't look much different, right, than this. You got some DLC and then Elemental War they threw in there as well, right? Not really, as far as content, not that much different. This was sent out, I want to say, around the 28th, and there was no twos there was no twos available that week of the 28th. But that was the week before that was the final week before the pro games went out. So what they essentially did is said, look, we're not scheduled to have a publication on this. And what we're not going to do this time around is we're not going to put out a separate letter about this. Why? Possibly because, again, their social media person that puts these together wasn't available. If that is the true story, that the reason why they had to even push it back to the 4th. If that was the case, then that would explain why what they did is they just sent this out and they sent it out as is to media for media to cover it. Why? Because if you're a hardcore gamer that's just sitting there looking like the clown in the sewage waiting for anything to pass by, then regardless if our social media person is here or not, or people are here or not, You'll find out what's going on because we're going to give the information to the media. You're always paying attention to them anyway. So that was their mind state. Yes, our person or people or whatever it was are on vacation. This information, yeah, people are going to want to know, or hardcore people are definitely going to want to know in advance. So let's put it out there officially in advance. And an official record is a press release. That's an official record. It doesn't have to be, there's nowhere that says an official announcement has to be on a self-contained blog post. All right? Now, I knew that. I could smell that a mile away. I've been covering Stadia for 3 years. Well, no, 2020, 2021, and now going to 2022. So for 2.5 years, I've been covering Stadia. I could tell, for the most part, of course, nobody knows, but I had no expectancy whatsoever that something big was going to happen in regards to this week on Stadia. I didn't expect, this is what they provided more than I was expecting. What I was expecting them to do was just simply rehash this. This just happened to come out a week early, and they were going to make this a part of this week on Stadia. And that's another reason why they didn't do a blog post. They just said, well, the hell with it. This is going to be this week on Stadia. And we'll put it out to the people early, a week early via the press and let them know. So what it sounds like to me is that for the hardcore people who feel like they got to keep an eyeball to everything, that this week on Stadia may not be the one and only place where you're going to get this information from. It sounds like now that they're going to push this out to the press first and let the press talk about it. And then for those that are less hardcore that just, may not be active on social media or whatever, but happen to go to the blog post to just check things out because they know it exists, it'll be for them. But I wouldn't expect, again, not to say they would never surprise you or they may not never double up on news. We've seen that earlier. But to place your expectations properly. Because how they're doing this with the press is new in particular. I would no longer expect these to come out to be your first shot of information. The first shot of information is going to go to the press, and the press is going to report on it first. So be on the lookout as it comes from the press. This week on Stadia blogs are going to be they may be summaries, they may have some new stuff in it. But in all likelihood, the expectation that you should set for yourself is that this is going to turn now into a blog, or be more, or the best way to describe it is they're solidifying this more now as a blog for those that are more casual with the news. If you want to know what's happening with Stadia as far as the latest breaking stuff, you're going to get that from the media. That would be the expectation that I would set for myself. Not saying you should never pay attention to this, but to hold so much weight to it if you are not a casual news reader on the platform, I think you're setting yourself up for disaster. Now somebody might listen to that and say, well, we're not news people. We don't write for StadiaDosage.com or to have the knowledge. MM2K, we don't know that. So how is this self-inflicted? Here's what makes it self-inflicted. And here's where it comes down to your circles. None of the people that I know of that I follow, the circles that I'm in, ever hinted that this week on Stadia, whether it was just because it was this week on Stadia or whether it was because it was delayed, was going to possibly have any surprises. None of us expected that. All of us expected this week on Stadia to just be a blog representation of the press release. That's it. They actually added a few more things, but nothing really to rock the boat, right? So the people that listen to the circles that I'm about to mention, and they rely on these circles for the news, were never led astray. Here's where I recommend that you listen. Okay. I recommend, and these are places where I believe have the best pulse on what's happening with the platform. I would listen to Clive E. Linden, Monday night Stadia chat and his TLDRs, and anything that he has to say on social media. You should be, if what you're looking for is not only Stadia news and facts, but the best interpretation of that news and those facts to set your expectations. If you're not following Clive because Clive likes Stadia too much, then that's on you. That's your fault. Because Clive has proven time and time again that he has of the best pulses of what's going on with Stadia, period. So you should be following Clive when it comes to setting your expectations. Another person or a circle that you should be following to set your expectations is our good brother John Scar. John Scar is tapped into the devs. The devs talk to him and he gets a great pulse of, yeah, there's going to be some buildup, but it's coming at a later time, and Stadia's not rushing it. They want to make sure it's right before it rolls out. So you'll know when it's coming, but there's some cool, great things coming down the pike nonetheless. So, and a bunch of other things. He gets that because he's tapped in. All right. When you don't hear from him, oh man, well that this week on Stadia's might be, they pushed it back. So when you don't hear that from him, and you don't hear it from Clive, then you need to fall back on the lofty expectations. So those are two people that should be in your portfolio. Clive maybe didn't say anything, but I ain't heard from John either. Yeah, this is bullpucky. Third is us. Shameless plug. I knew, for instance, myself, that the bulk of this week on Stadia was going to be on this. Hence why normally I reserve the day that this week on Stadia comes out. I reserve that day to doing the content that day. I normally do my content a day prior because my content is normally reflective. When I do videos on here, the SDO dailies, they're normally reflective. They're normally reflective on something that maybe that just broke or something that we've already talked about, but I'm putting what I feel on it, and I record those in advance. But if you notice, the days that this week on Stadia comes out, it's normally recorded that day. It's recorded that day. It's either I look at this week on Stadia and I'm like, oh, this is filled with news that I've already covered, so I'm not going to bother. Or it's worth making a video around, so I make a quick video around it and I put it out there. If you notice, this Wednesday, I believe it was, I think we had something that came out early in the day for SDO Daily. I think we had something early in the day. Matter of fact, let me pull it up. Let's pull it up just to make sure. Stay your channel. All right, let's go here. Oh, let's go to videos. That's where we want to go. All right. So, hold on. 2 days ago. Yeah. This was my video. That was my video, I believe, on Wednesday. Or no. I had two videos on Wednesday. Video number one was I planned to play a video game on Wednesday because I knew, I was pretty much sure, and I didn't get any inside information, but I just, in knowing that, you know, because of how the days fell and what we were told in the press release, which the press release was made public to everybody, or the information via the press release was made public to everybody, I knew not to expect anything noteworthy from this week on Stadia. So I didn't even plan to do a video on it. I did a video hyping up my gameplay of Division 2. And I also did another video on Stadia Community Day. Had no plans on this week on Stadia whatsoever. If this week on Stadia was going to be noteworthy, I would have just done a morning tonic. That's our 60-second blitz of Stadia news that we do, right? So notice how I did two videos there. So I knew that this week on Stadia wasn't going to involve anything, because we stay pivoted to the facts of the news, and we got a great pulse of what's going on with the platform. So again, if Clive ain't talking about, well, watch out for May the Force be with you. If John ain't talking about it, and we ain't talking about it, you know not to get hyped about it. Two more groups. I love Helix Cloud Gaming. Now, what my brothers do at Helix is they will have side conversations on ideas that they think are cool ideas, but they make it very clear it's just their ideas. And I don't want to speak on their behalf, but I feel that they do that because they want to put it out there to the people, get your response to it, and then let Google see what the responses are to that, for them to say, well, that's something that the people would go for. Maybe it's something that we should entertain. So they have some very great discussions. They have discussions there that are not being had elsewhere, but they don't present it as a package, as in, this is what you should expect. They weren't making any noise about may the 4th be with you. Like any sustained noise like that. I would follow Helix Cloud Gaming. And last, well, no, I got two more. Of course, my brother Sonny Cloud Gaming. Shout out to Sonny. If you don't hear that talk from him, we all know Sonny. Like, look, Sonny needs no introduction. If you're not hearing it from Sonny Cloud Gaming, just trust me, when there's an accumulation of things as of late or something big happening, you'll get a video from Sonny. We got no videos or anything entertaining the notion of May the 4th be with you being a significant, something to look out for. All right. And last but not least, would be Nerd Nest. Nerd Nest gave no indication. Now, Nerd Nest, this was their off week, mind you, but There was no May the 4th be with you was coming up. There was none of that. It's coming up in a couple of weeks. There was none of that. I feel that they also have a great pulse, along with the great discussions that they have there. They have a great pulse of where where Stadia may be at the moment. I think it's time for people to do one or two things. I always talk about the 5 stages of denial. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it's time for people to do one or two things. I think you either need to, you kick this off by asking yourself this question. Am I happy with the Stadia platform? And that includes the direction. If you're happy with the Stadia platform and including the direction, because either you just don't care about AAA games, or AAA games are contingent upon the porting process being enhanced, and you're confident in the things that they've said about enhancing that porting process, like that which they talked about in the Stadia keynotes. So you know that this is a law. You remember the things that were being said when they talked to GameIndustry.biz. Don't pay attention to what's being said about us. Pay attention to what we do. And we're making new tools. We've named the tool set, and we're working towards that. We've said before, expect these tools to be released to the public by the end of the year. We're just testing it out right now, right? If you believe in that, or you're happy with, you believe you had some angst about AAA development, but you believe that they are working on it, and you're willing to see how this pans out at the end of that process. Or you just simply are happy with the state of things, period, because AAA's ain't just the lineup, whatever the lineup presents, and that about, you're just happy with, period. Then okay. Then you got to better understand what are the best grounded sources. Now, there may be other sources that I didn't name, but I can only vouch off of my personal experience to those sources. There may be other ones. There could be a few others or whatever that I forgot or that I'm not aware of. But those are the ones that I can vouch for as far as like having a good pulse to what's going on, right? If you are not bumping your expectations up against what those platforms are saying or what their mood is, then you're in danger of setting yourself up for disappointment. Now, the last thing I'll say is, if you ask yourself that question and you're not happy, then it don't matter who you bump, you know what I'm saying, your expectations up to. The platform isn't working up to your expectations. You got a decision to make. I know that if somebody's not working up to my expectations, regardless of what the product or the service is, and I'm not trusting, I don't know what to expect if they're going to clean it up or not, I got a decision to make, and most likely my decision is I got to find something else. And that's okay. Stadia spoke to that at the beginning, before the platform even launched. People may have to come back and say, years later, Stadia is so much better. They even know that. It's a decision that you got to make. Just hopefully you make that decision without whizzing in everybody else's cornflakes. And much respect to the people that have made that decision. Okay, I gave it some time and was hoping for this, that, and the other. It didn't work out, so I made a move. I got nothing but respect for you. But, we can sit there and yell until we blue in the face and do all this other stuff. They're going to go in the course of direction that they're going to go. And if you're not comfortable or happy or satisfied with that, then you should make a decision. Don't just go and, as people are expressing that they're okay with this or they're happy with that, don't just go interject into conversations and pissing in people's cornflakes. Why are you happy? This, that, I'm not happy. No, make a decision. Make a decision and act on it responsibly. All right. So that's my message to those that were upset about this week on Stadia. Okay. And then that takes us back to, not there. That takes us back to here. So we got this week on Stadia covered, and we got that all situated. And now we're going to talk about around the cloud. But before we do, I just want to see what the chat has to say about all that I've had to say. Okay. So, okay. I just wanted to, okay. No. Gotcha, geek. Just rolled the credits on Sonic Spinball on Switch. I can dig it. Christopher Torres says, love Zombie Army 4. That's my game. Yeah, that game is so hard. I need to get back into that. That and Strange Brigade. Rebellion, they did a hell of a job with their games on the platform. It's just so sad that we can't get them back. Hopefully, or we haven't had them back. I won't say we can't get them back. We haven't had them back. I am hopeful that Stadia gets the low charge porting or low change porting in their hands, because they did marvels without it. So I can just imagine what they'll be able to do once they get it. The only thing is that Stadia tweeted about it having crossplay, and it doesn't. Exactly. That's what I was saying. So that's why I said I do get that, the angst over that, and Stadia has to get better at communicating that. Both Luna and Stadia are very quiet, but I believe there are reasons they're working. Yeah, exactly. They're working. These are the early years. It's a 1 to 3% business. Nobody's saying we got to go all out. Like, okay, GFN put out the 3080 tier, and I know that had to be expensive for them, but GFN is a different situation. Like, they only get paid off of you subscribing to them, and they have a peculiar situation where they have a free tier that most of its player base is utilizing. So they got to make up for that. We showed you yesterday where the Ampere Group told you that the paying subscribers only make up a small portion of GFN. That's the priority tier and the 3080 tier. And GFN has to deal with. And another thing that hurts GFN is, yeah, Game Pass is subscription based, Luna's subscription based. But if you buy DLC from Luna, or if you buy DLC on xCloud, guess who gets that DLC money? Those platforms. If you buy DLC on, on GF while you're playing on GFN, GFN sees none of that. DLC or cosmetic items or none of that stuff. They see none of it. They're just a conduit to Steam, Epic, or whatever. So they're in a more peculiar situation. So that's why they're more aggressive. And that's why they had to be a little bit more aggressive with this 3080 tier, because they had to create a tier that would balance out the revenue that they're missing out on because of all the people playing on the free tier and all them servers they got up for the free tier. They got to balance that out somewhere. And so they put out this 3080 tier that is pricey, but it is, impressive nonetheless in various facets, in hopes that it balances it out. We'll see if it's working or not at some point in time. But that's why they're more aggressive with it. They're not more aggressive with it because they care more. Because look at how they piecemealed it. I hear arguments like they're more for the hardcore gamer. No, they realize that the hardcore gamer is going to shell out more cash, and they need the cash. Because unlike all of their competitors, opposite of Shadow, they are not getting the revenue stacks that the rest of them are getting. xCloud, you buy DLC or items, it goes to Xbox. Luna goes to Luna. Stadia goes to Stadia. GFN, it goes to Steam. You know what I'm saying? So we got to realize that. Recognize and realize. And strategize. Okay? Let me show you something. Man. So let's talk about this. For those of you that don't know what this is Fortnite on Xbox Cloud Gaming. It's in the beta. There's been a lot of controversy about this because people are running around again. This is the end of Stadia. Stadia's trash, and they don't have it. Oh God, they don't have Fortnite. Here's the thing that I would consider. Now, and I've played this before we went live, and I do have to say that my hat goes off to the Xbox team because the game feels good. I mean, it's ugly and it's blurry. When you're playing on the web browser, I haven't played on the phone, and I didn't notice too much delay or anything like that on the browser, but the response was great. The response was great. It was. I have no complaints on the response. It was pretty responsive, and really the most responsive game that I've played to date on xCloud. They understood that they had to be that. They had to be that for Fortnite. Forza felt good. Forza was, but it looked somewhat good too. This doesn't look good, and what kind of detracts from it is that it is blurry. If you are playing in the cloud, I mean, if you are playing on the web browser, it is blurry. Oh gosh, but it plays well, and I don't know how it plays on the phone, and I don't know how it plays over Wi-Fi. Right. And I almost won. This is the first match of I've never played Fortnite in my life. Never. I've never played Fortnite in my life, and that was and I made it to third place. I made it to third place, and I feel like that I lost again because it's ugly, it's blurry, and I couldn't see, and I saw the direction of the shots, but I really couldn't see where the shots were, who the shooter was, and until after he killed me, he walked up out of the grass, and I'm like, and I couldn't make him out because it was so damn blurry. So you got to deal with that. Now again, with the pixels condensed and all other stuff on the phone, it could look better, but then it could look better in the sacrifice of performance. I don't know. But for Xbox, this is a big deal. It was still playable. It was still enjoyable. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little skeptical that I don't know if I was part of the crossplay pool. I might have just been part of the xCloud pool. But if I was part of the crossplay pool, because I was laying mugs out. I wish I would have recorded it. And I was able to lay people out via crossplay, playing with PC people, PlayStation. If I was able to do that, God, then yeah, then they got a great thing on their hands. If I was just playing with xCloud people, then it wouldn't make sense, because or if I was playing with bots, then it would make sense because it was kind of a little too easy for me to lay some people out. With that being said, this is still a big move. There's no concrete complaints. The only thing I could say is that it's ugly and even wired. The frame skipping or the frame juddering was messing with my eyes. But next to that, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't a horrible experience. And this is big for Xbox. This is big for Xbox. And people are saying, see, Stadia is a failure. They haven't developed the relationships that they needed to develop. That's bullpucky. Many of you may have forgot that Stadia, that Stadia is owned by Google. I think a lot of you forgot that, right? I think a lot of you also forgot that Epic is in an epic lawsuit battle versus Google and Apple because they wanted to be able to put Fortnite on those platforms and sell the game without having a store. And in order for you to do that, like I think my memory slips me. I don't think Google so much had a problem with them putting their own store on there, but Apple did. And in the case of in the case of Google, their problem was that Epic wanted to put its own store in their store. That's where it really became a problem for Google. Google's like, look, we allow individual stores on our app all the time or on our OS all the time. But if you want to put something in our store and benefit from our security and our this and our that, you got to give us our 30%. You know what I mean? And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to be able to put their store on there without having to do that. So I just put the post up here. This is when me and the Mensa candidate EA was going back and forth. But here goes a snippet of why that was baloney. Tim Sweeney and Phil Spencer were going back and forth in emails, and Phil was smart enough not to say much, but it was Tim Sweeney who pretty much was starting to lay down what his MO was. He says, I owe you a bunch. No, he says, totally understand. I gather there's a lot going on at Microsoft nowadays. Anyway, you enjoy the upcoming fireworks show, talking about how they wanted to, how he was, he was pretty much doing a stunt and really trying to roll the dice and win against Apple. And Phil responds, says, I owe you a bunch of things and I'm behind. I apologize. It's just a lot going on, but that's not an excuse. You obviously seen our Samsung announce in our back and forth with Apple. At the highest levels of MS, we're committed to pushing on these policies and continuing to expand our console platform capabilities. You can chime in as you feel comfortable, but I just want to let you know that I have your point on xCloud on other consoles. Haven't given up. Free to play outside of gold. We will get there, and I will partner, and I want to partner with you. And our store entitlement ideas as items, I'm going to review with you to make progress. I'm committed to that. Just behind. So Phil has been chasing Tim for a very long time, and Tim hasn't bit on it. Here's what they tried to do though. Because of Epic having a relationship with Tencent, and then Tencent tapping NVIDIA GeForce Now, this is why Epic is pushing that so much, because of that relationship that they both have with Tencent. Epic first tried with GeForce Now to circumvent the fact that even though they caused a major blow to Apple and having them to reduce the store or whatever, that they still can't get Fortnite on Apple devices. So they first tried with GFN. And GFN, as far as competitive play, especially with the 3080 tier, but particularly with the 3080 tier, is remarkable. So playing Fortnite on GFN's 3080 tier would have been remarkable. And via GFN, they were trying to use that to get Apple to get that on there, but that's through beta as well. And that's only 1 hour sessions, I believe it is. So that didn't work out because you saw a significant bump in GFN engagement in January, I believe it was, of this year when that announcement was made. And then the engagement started to dip again. It went back up with God of War slightly, not nowhere near as much as that announcement, but it significantly went down after time. So that didn't work in Epic's favor. So now he went and he entertained Phil Spencer. And I'm not sure what the deal entails. I'm pretty sure it's something in the realm of, hey, look, we'll put this on xCloud. We'll work with your engineers to get it working the best way that we can on xCloud. If you make the store, you know what I'm saying, the store compensation 85-15, maybe even 90-10. You know what I'm saying? Something crazy like that. We'll put this on xCloud because we know this will significantly bump your cloud exposure. We know that we see the numbers. We see the numbers. We're intertwined with everything. We see the numbers and we see that as far as average daily or average monthly users or average, consistent usage, xCloud is towards the bottom when it's in the cloud. When it comes to the cloud, we see that. This will really boost it up and hopefully get it above everything. And I think that it could be a great jolt, even if it's Fortnite only, because like I said, if what I played earlier today is what you get on phone, for the most part, they might have something on their hands. Here's where the discussion is starting to go off the rails. So I get it that Fortnite is there and Fortnite is on GFN. But and Tim Sweeney only made this deal because they wanted Fortnite on you know what I'm saying, they wanted a way to circumvent and stick it to Apple and get access to the Apple users again. And I don't think this is a problem for Google, because I don't think Google cares if Fortnite is on the platform via xCloud. They don't care. They were never one of those storefronts, I think, that was like, you need we need to get 30% of all your purchases within your. I don't think that was a problem. Hence why Game Pass was always running on Google. And I'm pretty sure there's DLCs that are made for games in Game Pass all the time. I think it was a problem for Apple because Apple particularly is concerned with purchases made on its platform through an app. But now they're going to be made via web browser. So how much does Apple care about that? I don't know. And Tim Sweeney gets to access the Apple people again that were disenfranchised. If this works. This is great for Xbox. This is great for Tim Sweeney too. As much as I can't stand the bastard. Great for him too. But now people are saying this is horrible for Stadia. And I don't get that logic. To me, that logic doesn't fly because, granted, we would love to see Fortnite on here. Yeah. But if you read this, they were only entertaining letting Fortnite on here. Someone at Epic apparently pitched to Google prior to Fortnite being on Google Play that if they let them put Fortnite on Google Play for free, they put Fortnite on Stadia too. Now, come on now. Like, Google is slowly building this cloud platform for the long term. And they realize that their apex is when they merge this Google Stadia with YouTube. Then they're gonna have access to 1 billion gamers much more rapidly than Xbox will. Xbox is trying to be on PC and they got Game Pass and they're doing all that other stuff, but they gotta build those relationships. Google already has built relationships with tons of gamers through YouTube gaming. Once they integrate Stadia with that, there you go. That's it. Checkmate for Google Stadia. Checkmate for Amazon Luna. That's it. They're settled. It's Microsoft that's going to have to keep fighting to build these relationships and get to 1 billion gamers because Mixer failed. Their relationship with Facebook fell through. And it's great that Fortnite is going to be on, be there, but I don't think there's 1 billion. I don't know if there's 1 billion Fortnite gamers that are going to play on there alone, on xCloud alone. I don't know about that. So this is something that in the immediate now is going to be a big boost, or could potentially be a big boost for xCloud, depending upon how this works. But does this thrust Stadia to the bottom? No. Does it thrust GFN to the bottom? Because here's the thing about GFN. This was supposed to be it with GFN. And they had to go elsewhere. GFN was supposed to be their answer to getting on iOS. And they had to go elsewhere because it didn't work. So GFN and Stadia are significant streaming platforms. They're the top 2 honchos. Could this, as far as usage, bring xCloud up as far as usage? Yes. And could it help out xCloud as well, or Xbox as well? It's because of the DLC that'll be purchased. Yes. It could. But that's not going to dissolve Stadia's dominance here, GFN's dominance here, Amazon's potential dominance in the future. It's not going to do any of that. Still xCloud at the end of the day. And if you just want to live and die off of Fortnite, which, I mean, that's a great, resource to lean on. But if you want to live and die off of Fortnite, great. But all these other games that you have on your cloud platform that are going to get people to pay for Game Pass, you got to get those together. And the question is, how long is Fortnite going to stay free in the xCloud beta, like free to play? I know there's more free to play games coming, but are you going to be able to play them free to play without subscribing to Xbox Game Pass? That's the question. So it's great for Xbox. Does it destroy Stadia? No, if it doesn't destroy GFN, then it doesn't destroy Stadia. This is a blow for neither. It's not a blow for Luna. It's just a great deal for Xbox. They needed a jolt like this. They needed this bad. Hopefully it will result in some Game Pass subscriptions if they get the rest of xCloud working together. But this in way, no shape and form should be looked at as a deterrent. This is an opportunity for Xbox that was presented to them because Tim Swindle had some other deals involved. Under no circumstances is Google going to say, sure, compromise our Play Store with your stuff. We're not going to take anything from you and put it on 1% business Google stick. No. That's not going to fly. All right. With that said, because again, you got to remember that most gamers don't trust cloud gaming. Now, granted, iOS gamers really don't have much choice to play Fortnite but another way. But as connections get thrown off and stuff like that, because this is totally in the cloud. I get this is an online game, but this is totally in the cloud. We got to see how it holds up. Playing it wired, but that's not what iOS people are doing. But playing it wired, I had a good experience. We'll see how it is wireless. All right. So, but still, good deal for Xbox. It doesn't destroy anything on the periphery. It just boosts Xbox up, which is good for cloud gaming altogether because Xbox just wasn't showing cloud gaming in the best light. But if this plays well wirelessly on Apple devices as well, then it helps exposure with cloud gaming altogether, which is a good thing. All right. With that said, I'm going to close out. We're not going to do game vibes today. That's going to be it because we're running out of time. But I'm going to read the rest of you guys' comments and then we're going to close out the show. And again, if you want me to read your comments during the taping of the show, you got to be a member. Just hit that join button below and become a member. Psalmist Pro, golly, he says, Fortnite, don't we got Grey Knight? If you could go in the crater, there's a Fortnite-ish game called Grey Knight, I think. Oh, okay. All right, cool. I see the possibilities with this. Could be adding free-to-play games to get people in. They could open. Fortnite is fun. I think it could have brought a few thousand folks to Stadia. They end up adding the ability. Well, I'm going to say that. Let me respond to Geek. Yeah, I think it could have brought some people to Stadia, but the caveat is, as you see on the screen, what they wanted was they wanted Fortnite to be in the Google store free of charge, and Google don't get a cent from it. That's absurd. That would have never happened. Not for a 1% business. Xbox essentially brought Fortnite back on the mobile scene. I hate that Google, Apple, and Epic started beefing. It's also on GFN, but I don't know how it compares. Yeah, I think on GFN, I was reading a Verge article. I think, you still got, if you want a regular session, you got to pay for GFN priority. And you got to, you can play it free and get only an hour session at a time. I don't think that was flying. And I will say this, though. I believe that it is going to play better on GFN than it does Xbox, and it still didn't fly. So it being free via Xbox Cloud, let's see how long it stays free. And 2, let's see how it performs wirelessly. That's going to be key because it's not native. It performs better on GFN from what I've seen. Yeah, that's what I would expect. Make them look good in court, I guess. I also wonder how long the servers hold up. Yeah, we'll soon see. It's interesting, but it's good for Xbox. There's no denying this. There is no denying that this is potentially the shot in the arm that xCloud needed. But why is it got to be a zero-sum game? Oh, Stadia, it's not on Luna, but it does nothing to harm Luna. It is on GFN, but apparently Sweeney's master plan on GFN didn't work out. So does that mean that GFN is now not worthy? No, it didn't work out. They now added it to xCloud where they feel it's going to be more favorable. We'll see what it does on xCloud. You know what I'm saying? But we got to stop this zero-sum talk as it relates to cloud gaming. Like this is Highlander. There could only be one. No, that's ridiculous. You got to stop it. All right, with that said, people, appreciate all of y'all. I got to get out of here. Thank you for checking us out. And again, if you want to be part of the members, if you want to be able to comment here, hit the members section. All right, until next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.